Somebody's live. It may not be us.
So we'll just make sure we've got confirmation we're live before we actually start.
Looks like we're live. To me.
Oh, yep. I can see we're live now. Okay, everyone. So welcome, Unraders, Tinkerers, AIs, Geeks, Home Labbers, and all of you across the internet. Welcome back to another Ed and Stefano Unleashed. So, Stefano, how are you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good.
Yeah?
How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, summer's going past pretty fast, unfortunately. Seems like it's almost over already.
Yeah, it does.
We've got a pretty packed show for everyone today. New hardware, AI controversy, data breaches, you name it. But before we get to any of that, I think we've got to start with the main event, Stefano. Yes. And I'm going to explain in a moment why we were a bit late starting, but we'll get to that in a moment. So before we get to any of that, the main event, Stefano, are you ready to feel old?
Yes.
So for Unrade, it's the big 2-0. That's a huge milestone. I mean, Unrade's been the backbone of so many home labs for so long. So I want to say happy birthday, Unrade, and happy birthday to the whole of the community. But anyway, to be quite honest, I'm not really that excited about the 20th anniversary.
Why is that?
Well, I'm actually excited about the 21st anniversary because I'm looking forward to when Unrade is old enough to have a drink and I can have a drink with my server. Anyway, like a bit of a dad joke there, but never mind. But seriously, Unrade Unrade officially started back on the 26th of August, 2005. So 20 years coming up in a couple of weeks. So 2 decades of innovation, drive failures, community builds, rebuilds, all of that kind of thing over the last 20 years. I actually started Unrade, my Unrade journey, I think it was back on Unrade 5. What version were you using, Stefano?
I think somewhere around Unrade 5 as well. It was definitely before 6. So maybe like 5.5-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Unrade 5 for a little bit. It was just set up mainly for storage. I didn't really think about it again. And then I stopped using it. I can't remember why I stopped using it. I think I started using external hard drives and other things with various Windows and Apple computers in my work. And it wasn't until Unrade 6 when I saw Docker and VMs. I'm not sure which one it was that persuaded me the most, but yeah, Docker and VMs is what nailed it for me. And I realized that Unrade was my operating system, and I haven't looked back ever since. That must have been about 2015, I think.
How old were you back then?
Oh, I think I must have been about 10.
Nice.
You can't ask me my age, Stefano.
I wasn't asking your age. I was just asking how old you
Yeah,
were.
but then you can work it out, can't you? Eh?
Yes. Yes, I can.
And anyway, for anyone out there who wants to experience that for the first time or even the second time, Lime Technology is making it very, very easy right now. To celebrate, we're running a 20% off sale off all Unrade licenses for the entire month of August. So that's not only licenses, it's everything on the new merch store as well. Have you seen the new merch store, Stefano? I can see you have. And that is why I was late today, because I didn't think my merch would come through. And I said to Stefano, hang on a minute, because I heard the doorbell ring, and it was my merch. And I've also got this as well. This is like really nice. I was going to put it on, but it's going to be a bit hot. This zip hoodie here, the quality is really, really nice. I don't know if you guys can really see it on the screen.
I want one of those so bad too, because I like the Unrade logo on the arm. I like that a lot.
And that's why I got the white t-shirt, so I could have this kind of unzipped and then have the white with the OG Unrader underneath. Yeah. So I'm really happy. It was really, really nice thing to get before the podcast started.
And chat, literally, we're about to go live, and this man's like, hang on one second. Gets up. Like, I don't know what's going on. He just said, I'll be right back. And then comes in, and he's just like opening his new shirt that just arrived. So it literally came in just in time for the stream.
The funny thing is I got an SMS message this morning and
Mhm.
it said your FedEx parcel is going to be delivered on the 13th of this month. So I thought, oh, and then I heard the doorbell going, and we've already had the postman come already. So I was thinking, could that be it? So I said, Stefano, wait a minute, we're gonna have to be a little bit late. And the guy handed me a parcel, and I thought, yeah, it's soft. That's my merch.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So anyway, I'm going to show everyone the merch store for those who haven't seen it. It's really nice. Let me try and share my screen here. So that's the merch store there. So now let me see if I can stretch that down a bit. So there's stuff for everyone really, like men, women. I really like this Hawaiian polo t-shirt. I think I'm going to have to order one of these.
And I literally have the array Lee. I think that's how you say the last part. Array
Oh yeah,
lie, whatever it is.
you've got that one.
It's here today, but the UPS store is closed, so I can't go
Oh
get it.
man. Oh wow.
That one is by far the best shirt of
Mm,
all the ones that are available, in my opinion, of course.
yeah, I've got this one coming here, the Peak Performance Polo.
Yeah,
I really like that. I think it looks really smart, and you know,
it'll be nice and cool because it's like one of those that you can wear outside and it breathes well.
yeah.
Or at
So
least I'm
that's
pretty sure anyway.
that's the hoodie I've just got. So you can probably see it a bit better. I really like that. It's so smart. I love the Unrade going down the sleeve there. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. So check out the merch store, everyone, if you haven't already seen it, because there's 20% off everything this month. So definitely the time to go and pick up some swag.
what else
And
would
I'm not talking about swag as in the reverse proxy.
nice? Is there anything else in
um,
the store that you would like to have?
yeah, there is actually.
I'm curious to see like where our opinions or like
I
where we line up at. That's why I ask.
I would quite like. I know it sounds kind of maybe a bit strange. I would actually like the parity log.
Really?
I don't know why. I'm a bit old school. I do like writing things down
Yeah.
sometimes. So having the parity log would be pretty good. And I like it because it reminds me of Star Trek, like Captain's log. So like parity log. I kind of like that. What I want to know is, what do you think of the candle?
The O day uptime.
Ode uptime.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm getting that. I've just been kind of slacking off on actually making the purchase because I think it'd go great on my wall. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean I feel like I have to have one.
I don't know what the smell of odor uptime would be. Does it smell like warm circuits? I've no idea.
It would be awesome if they could get it to smell like brand new electrical equipment that comes off the line. That would be
Yeah,
great. It probably
that'd be pretty cool.
smells like I don't know, but it probably smells like what would be something fun? Maybe like volcanic ash,
Mm.
making prayers to
I don't know.
the
I'm gonna have to buy it because I'm just so curious to know what it does smell like.
yeah, yeah, same.
Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't support smells over the internet yet. So
Yeah, smell-o-vision never
I think we
made it
should
off the
buy
ground.
one, Stefano. We both need to buy one, and we will report back what it smells like next month.
Okay.
But I really like which was my favorite here. This one here. I really want to get a couple of these. That legacy sticker. I think it looks super cool. It's my favorite sticker out of all of them. I don't know which one your favorite is there. Oh no, actually, this was the one I preferred with the bigger established 2005 at the
Yeah,
bottom.
established is pretty cool.
I really like it how it's got the lines going through the font on the bottom. It's like nice and kind of
Yeah, yeah.
retro-y. I think that looks pretty awesome. Um,
We need to actually click on one of the other stickers. I guess like any sticker is fine. So I see that they have the size listed there, like 3 by 3 inches by 3 inches, 4 inches by 4 inches.
oh yeah.
But it'd be really cool if they were able to add like this is what it would look like on an actual product. Because
How
I'm
do you
like,
mean?
so like they had the sticker actually stuck on something like a hardware
Oh yeah, good
case.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because even though like I know about what 4 inches by 4 inches is,
Stefano, stay on target. Stay on target, as they say in Star Wars.
So even though I know what about 4 inches is, it would still be cool to be able to see like it on an object because that really just
Mm,
helps put a frame of reference on everything.
yeah.
That was
Well, I
not
thought.
planned, by the way.
What I thought you were saying at first, man. Yeah, I thought you were going to say they should show it in the actual size on the screen. I was going to say, well, it depends what size your monitor is, Stefano.
Yeah,
but
no.
now I get it. Now I get it. Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh,
Um,
Tiffany's here. I'm. Oh, you're gonna get me in trouble, Ed.
Me, you get yourself in trouble easy enough,
Me?
Stefano. I do like that. I could do with a new laptop case.
Yeah,
That's
those are pretty
nice.
cool. There's a lot of really like neat stuff on here, and so so this is going back to the candle. I'm gonna have to get two because if I light one, I feel like I'm gonna tarnish it, right?
Mm.
And I want a pristine candle.
Yeah, so you want a nice candle for show and you want a candle for use.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, good idea, man. Yeah, I totally got you there. Right, let me stop sharing my screen a moment. Um, sorry, one moment, everyone. I want to make sure I click stop sharing screen rather than stop the podcast. The buttons look exactly the same.
That would be awesome. So you know how we have the notes, like we use whatever that app is called. I can't even think of what the app is called. Asana, right? The
Yeah.
leave button is right next to the comment button. So or post button. So one day I just like overstepped and I just left the chat and I was like, cool, now I have no way to get back into this. And I had to reach out to Spencer and was like, hey man, can you add me back to this?
Oh no.
Bad design.
Yeah, so anyway, as well as the merch store, there's some other really cool things happening this month. At the end of the month, on Saturday the 30th, we're hosting a live online birthday bash, hosted here by yours truly and Unrade's founder, Tom Mortensen. So that's going to be really exciting. Lots of things to look forward to there. And you're going to be seeing a short film that I'm producing. There has been a clip on the Uncast channel, a little teaser about it. And in making that, I'm not sure if I can even share the screen of that. I'm gonna try. I am going to try. Give me one moment.
Do you think if you share the screen of your own YouTube video, we'll get hit with a copyright strike?
It wouldn't surprise me, I tell you. It wouldn't surprise me. So there'll be no sound, but don't worry about that. And there's going to be a reason why. You'll see I'm sharing this. Okay, so this was a little teaser trailer. So the reason I'm showing this is because all of this with Tom here was actually taken from a still photo.
And enhanced with AI, yeah.
So I'm going to stop that now. But yeah, so all of that was actually done with AI. All of, from one single photo. I think it's pretty amazing, what you can do with AI and video now. The most difficult thing was keeping the context and keeping it being the same going from shot to shot.
Yeah.
So anyway, my video is going to be Unrade Through the Ages, and there's some pretty special things that are going to be in it that I'm very excited about. I'm not really going to tell too much about it and spoil the surprise, but
Yeah, don't.
come and check it out on the 30th. And we've actually got over 1,000 RSVPs back at the moment. So
wow.
I'm quite nervous, even though on YouTube all the time, this just seems a bit different, being a kind of live event, a special live event.
Yeah.
It's going to be super cool.
Question, real quick,
Sure,
if I may. So for
go for
Tom's
it.
Kitchen, are you gonna have like a remix edition of the song "Tom's Diner" by Susan? Vega or whatever her name is, and D&D or DXG or whatever whatever that band is called.
Oh wow! I tell you, Stefano, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
All right, I'll just do just a part of the song and it'll click for you. But it's did
Go on
did
then.
did it did 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 it. I can't do any more
Yeah.
or we'll get banned. Does that sound familiar? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
maybe
one.
if we both do it, it'll be okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
We could do you
yeah.
could do for Tom's Kitchen something similar, but it'd be different. You know what I mean?
Okay. Sounds good to me, man. But also on that day, we've got the results of a competition, which is the SYS competition, which is kind of a bit of a play on words. You know, sys as in sysadmin and sys as in show us your server, where there's going to be various categories. So if you don't know about it, enter your server in. There's fun categories like Terabyte Titan, which is for, you know, who's got the largest storage. Tiny Titan for really small servers. Milliwatt Miser for all of you guys, probably more of us in Europe here who love low power builds because of our huge electricity bills. Legacy Legend because Unrade breathes life into old hardware. I think that's one of the great things about Unrade is it just gives old hardware, you know, a second breath of life, and it's really nice seeing old hardware being reused. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's really cool being able to use like a server from literally
Yeah.
2005, 6, 7, and it still works
Mm,
to this day with Unraid. Can't even do that with a lot of Linux distributions anymore.
yeah. Like I think I've got probably about four Gen 8 microservers. I always love them, the little square ones with
Yeah, those
four
are
drive
awesome.
bays. And
Did you know they
they
made a
run
new one?
perfectly. Have they?
They're
A
bringing it
new and
back.
oh
Yeah.
okay. What,
So
like a 2025 model?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Do you know what CPU they've got in it?
no, but it'll be new. I'm sure it'll be
Yeah.
Intel because that's all manufacturers sell.
Mm. But what I didn't like about when they made the Gen 10 is the drives didn't have, you know, the proper caddies. They'd tried to
Uh,
cheapen it and they kind of slid it, and it was just really awkward and it just wasn't nice. I just thought the Gen 8 was just such better quality.
well, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see what happens. Maybe they're like take all the feedback from Gen 10 and Gen 2025 or 2026 whenever it comes out. Maybe they'll improve on all that stuff.
But also, there's another category which we call totally unhinged, which is for just the most rad, crazy servers you can think about. And I've been having a look at through some of the entries, and they're really exciting.
Oh, you've already got. I was just gonna ask, like, do you already have access to that stuff?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the entries already, and you know they're pretty exciting. And I'm going to show you something actually, Stefano. I'm going to
Okay.
show all of the users here. I'm not entering anything into this competition myself, but if I was going to, I would maybe enter this.
Commodore. Oh
So,
yeah. I remember
so
this.
this, yeah. Listen, I'm not sure if you can hear. Hang on.
Ooh.
It's got Cherry MX switches. It is actually a proper computer case that's been reimagined, like you can see in the side there.
Mm-hmm.
But it is actually a proper case. Fits an ITX motherboard and uses a Pico power supply. So
I don't know if that qualifies as unhinged. That seems like a work of art.
no, I would have that as milliwatt miser because it's
Milliwatt
got
miser.
I've put an N100 in it, but I'm going to probably try and find something much more powerful to put in it. But my plan for that one is I'm going to build it and I'm going to pass through the iGPU.
Hmm.
It's going to be a bit of a challenge passing through the iGPU, but my plan is to be able to use it as like a kind of living room computer, having it run a retro gaming distro like Bataseria as a VM in Unrade. So that's why I need a pass through, and maybe having it run LibreELEC as a VM as well.
Perfect
So
wants to ask. He's in chat. He asks, "Are you going to get a CRT monitor for your Commodore rebuild?"
I have got a CRT right behind me there.
That looks a little too new.
No, that's an old 1990s TV. It's not a CRT monitor, but it's a CRT TV, 15-inch Panasonic. Yeah. But yeah, you can't beat CRT for retro gaming stuff because the pixels, they were made for the blur on the CRT. So when you put them on an HD TV, the graphics just don't look quite right,
Yeah.
because when they designed them, they were designed for how the CRT looked, and they just look totally different, in my opinion. So, you know,
Um, so to kind of go back to the different categories, and since you're the inside man, do you have any idea if they're going to show like I assume they'll show like the runners up for each entry, but
yeah.
do you know if they're going to be available for like to see all entries? Because I think
Um,
that would be
it
pretty
hasn't
cool.
it hasn't been decided yet, but I would
Ah,
say probably yes. But on the day, we'll show the top three from each, and then it's going to be
yeah, yeah,
judged.
yeah,
And yeah, and
yeah. Because
I'm
for
really
the
looking forward
unhinged
to that.
category and like maybe the minimizer category, like those are going to be peak interest for me, and I would love to see
Mm,
just like all the things people submitted anyway.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's going to be so hard to pick a winner. I tell you, there's so many cool things out there in the community. And there's prizes as well. So there's things like lifetime Unraid licenses, merch, paid support sessions, free gear. So entries close, I believe, on the 17th of August. So get your entries in. Just take some photos of your server, give it a little spiel about it, and get it into the competition. You've got to be in it to win it. So, you know, let's see what you've got out there, guys.
Yeah, I
So,
really want to see this. I can't wait.
so anyway, another big thing this month is we've had Unrade 7.2 beta dropped on August the 1st. Um, have you had a chance to try that out, Stefano? Have you booted up on it yet? Stefano. uh, most of my servers run the bleeding edge of the distros, but there's three big things in it. I think the biggest thing is probably RAID Z expansion.
Hmm.
So you're not really a ZFS user anyway, are you, Stefano?
I'm a
Like
terrible like co-host for this part of the stuff. Like
you are, yeah.
I would still be on Unrade 666 if I didn't have any issue. Like I would still be way back
Yeah,
there.
you'd be on Devil's Build, I know.
Yep.
um, yeah, well, one thing you might be pleased about, actually, I'm going to kind of jump forward into some features of Unraid 7.2 and not talk about the expansion at the moment, is there is support for EXT4 and NTFS, and you can use those drives in the array now. So
That'll be
um,
nice. Also just
pretty
getting
nice to
data
use.
off of them would be really much more
Exactly.
easy now. So
So basically, you can chuck a bunch of, if you say you've got a bunch of drives lying around on a shelf, you've got some old Windows drives and, you've got some EXT4 drives, you can just put them in the Unraid server and have them parity protected straight away. So, yeah, I think that's
that's a
a,
great feature.
a
Yeah.
pretty cool feature to have. But anyway, going back to RAID Z expansion, okay. So, um, with ZFS, normally you build your Z pool and you're pretty much stuck with that as the size of the pool that you have. So you have like what's called VDEVs, which are a group of disks, and you can have multiple VDEVs in a Z pool. So normally, if you want to expand your Z pool, you have to add another VDEV. So if your Z pools were, say, groups of 4 wide VDEVs and you had 2 4 wide VDEVs, if you wanted to expand it, you'd have to add another 4 drives or nuke the whole pool and set up another pool. It's a bit like having a bookcase, and you get, you want to expand your bookcase. You've got to kind of chuck away the whole bookcase and buy a bigger one. That was kind of a bit how it was.
Yeah.
But with RAID Z expansion, you can actually expand um, a VDEV, adding one disk at a time. This is a very new bleeding edge feature of ZFS, and it's now integrated into Unraid, and it can be done all through the GUI. So I think the easiest thing to do, I'm going to actually show this being done as I recorded it earlier. If you give
I'm
me one
terrified
moment,
of
please,
change,
guys.
Ed, and that's why I don't really jump on the latest and greatest builds. Sometimes I will, obviously, for testing purposes, right? But that's what the test server's for.
Yeah.
But my actual home server, I mean, I try to keep that as not intentionally as far behind as possible, but pretty far behind.
So anyway, there's like a Z pool. I've got RAID Z2, which has 2 drives of parity. You
Hmm.
basically just go ahead and you add another slot, which I did there. And you can see it still says 1 VDEV of 5 drives. So all we need to do now is just start up the array, which you can see I'm doing there. And there's the 6 drives there. If I click onto that now, you can see it now says one VDEV of 6 drives. And going down here, we can see the expansion happening as we go. And it's expanding the VDEV, making it wider. So being able to add an extra drive into ZFS, this has been wanted for so long in the ZFS community. It's unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we've got it in Unrade and it's built into the GUI, not having to use command line. So that's really, really awesome.
There you go. Maybe that will be the feature that finally gets me to switch to ZFS.
Yeah. There's one thing I want to say. It's like one thing, I personally think about with expanding Z pools. In Unraid, we're very used to being able to add an additional disk into the array. So say we've got like 5 or 6 drives in the array, one parity drive. We could go up to having like 10 drives and one parity disk. Because really the Unraid array is safer if there's a failure. So, because if there's a failure in the Unraid array, we only lose the drives that fail if we don't have parity. So if I had a 10 wide Unraid array with one parity, I've got 9 drives. If one drive fails, I can recover. But if during the rebuild another drive fails, I will then lose what was on those 2 drives because I've got nothing to rebuild it from.
Right.
But with ZFS, if it fails, you lose everything. So one thing I want to just say to everyone listening is don't make your RAID Z VDEVs too wide, because if it fails, what I really worry about is seeing people having like a RAID Z1 VDEV and it being 10 drives wide because they keep adding one, adding one, adding one. I think a rule of thumb is for RAID Z1, the maximum amount of disks you'd have in RAID Z1 is 6 to 7. RAID Z2 is 8 to 10. And RAID Z3 is 12 to 15 disks. The reason you can have more of a wide VDEV with the higher RAID levels is because you've got more disks of redundancy that can fail. So it's a bit safer to go wider. But
And pretty soon you won't need as wide of a ZFS pool because new hard drives are
yeah,
getting massive.
they are. We've got a Seagate one, haven't we? 30 Iron Wolf Pro 30 terabytes. Seagate.
Yes. Sorry, I'm laughing at how perfect that transition is.
Yeah. So 30 terabytes, I think, is the biggest consumer, but I think they've got a 36 terabyte one, if I remember. And I've even heard there's refurb ones of those going around at the moment, even though they're only on pre-order at the moment. So I'm not quite sure how that is a thing. And they're $800 for the 36 terabyte, but they're more kind of enterprise drives. But the consumer ones, $600 will get you a 30 terabyte hard drive. But what I'm thinking, Stefano, is like, when are hard drives, too big? Do you think hard drives are getting too big, in your opinion?
Partly because I do so RAID is kind of finally dying off, I think. And the rebuild time on a
Mm,
30 terabyte drive has to just be absolutely insane.
yeah,
Like, and have you ever rebuilt a RAID array ever? Like, even back when it was just a terabyte, I mean, it would take, not like the RAID array was 1 terabyte, but
yeah,
when you had,
with 1 terabyte drives.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
mm,
Like, even then, it would take days to recut, like, just to rebuild.
yeah, yeah. It takes a long time. Imagine with 36 terabyte drives, like uh, an array rebuild or a resilver with ZFS, it will take a long time.
Yeah, like,
Um,
and also imagine you have a 30 terabyte drive. So, uh, Stebun, I don't know how to say that, brings it up. It's like, how long do you think it would take for a 30 terabyte drive to pre-clear? Would it finish before August or by
I
the
don't
end
know.
of August? Sorry.
We might have some pre-clear drives by Christmas, but I would definitely be skipping the pre-read.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would just be a
definitely.
0 and post-read if I was doing a 30 terabyte for sure. But I guess the pros of it is more storage with less space, obviously.
Yeah, that's a huge plus.
Lower power consumption, fewer drives means lower electricity costs, and simplified management. Fewer drives is easier to manage. Um, you haven't got a whole bunch of drives, and they tend to be more cost efficient. Really, um, I think dollar per terabyte is lower with large drives, and sometimes they can be higher performance, the larger drives, but the cons: single point of failure, like we were saying, longer recovery times, and the higher cost. If we wanted to put a 36 terabyte drive into our Unrade server, the drives are $800, but
Yes.
then you're going to have to upgrade your parity drive as well.
Yep.
So that's $1,600 to put a 36 terabyte drive into your Unrade array. Now I'm
And
going
you
to
still
ask,
have to wait like 3 days for it to pre-clear. So you
yeah,
couldn't even use it immediately.
imagine you're pre-clearing it and it's been like 3 days, and just towards the end, it says it's failed the pre-clear and you have to send it back. Oh
It
man,
yeah, that would be right
you
at the
get another
last
one,
bit.
and then
Failed.
you got to start it again. I was going to ask you, can you hear my naughty dog barking in the background?
I haven't been paying attention. I'm just
Okay, if
listening to your
if you do,
wonderful
tell
voice.
me, and I'm going to go and um, bring her in. She's out in the garden, and the family is out, and she's barking. So if anyone can hear, please say, and I will go and get her in. Um, yeah. So basically, going back to the hard drives as well. Another thing, they must be running hotter as well because the density is more, and I'm guessing the seek times will be slower because the head has to move further to get to the correct parts of data.
Yeah,
I may
yeah.
be wrong, but
It's
that's
funny that you mentioned running hotter. So for years now, I've seen people like I've made tons of videos of doing like server builds and things of that nature. And people are always like, "Aren't you worried about your hard drives getting hot?" And I'm like, "No, it my house doesn't get above 80 Fahrenheit or 27 or
mm,
26 Celsius, whatever that conversion is. Like it'll be fine." And everyone's so worried about hard drives terminating early because of heat, and I'm just like, I've never seen that in nearly 20 years of computing.
yeah.
Even in like a hot environment, I've never seen a hard drive fail due to heat.
No, nor have I. And I was doing, excuse me, a professional services engagement job the other day, and looking at the hard drives in there, with spinners as well. The highest temperature it was 26 degrees Celsius, which is really low. I know you
Yeah.
guys don't use Celsius, but my drives often in my server are running at about 42, and I consider that quite good. I was shocked, but I'm sure the fans. I couldn't hear it because I was remoted in,
Yeah.
but I'm sure the fans probably sounded like a 747 jet. so,
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, going back to other things in Unraid 7, we've got our responsive web UI now. So that's really good. So everything resizes, great for mobile devices, tablets, and cell phones. That's a really big thing. It's been asked for a long time. And so it's really nice to see we've got that. We've got built-in REST API, which opens the door to much better integrations for plugins and all kinds of things like that. And the community's currently hard at work making lots of plugins. Um, and yeah, but the main thing that I'm excited about was the CFS expansion. And I actually asked ChatGPT how many other systems have a CFS expansion um, built into the GUI, and I know ChatGPT is not the most reliable thing to ask, but it said it's almost unheard of. So we are one of the first yet again. So
Well, hopefully you didn't ask Chat GPT 5.
why? Because it thinks there's three bees in blueberry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but it's pretty crazy. Like the way AI is going now.
Did
Um,
all right, so go just I
I'm.
noticed you said web UI earlier.
Mhm.
I also say web UI,
Yeah,
but do you think it I still see people say web GUI all the time,
yeah.
but I feel like web UI is more appropriate. What are your
I
thoughts
do.
on the subject?
Mm,
And you're being recorded, so everything you say can and will be held against you.
that's good. Web UI is what I always say.
Yes.
Um, but GUI as well is okay. But
Yes.
web GUI,
It sounds
I
funny, doesn't
putting
it?
putting that together, a web GUI, a web graphical user interface. Yeah, I don't know. Um, a web user interface, I consider that in a browser.
Yeah.
Graphical user interface, I consider that could be on a desktop and not necessarily in a browser with like a piece of software. That's how I always look at it
That's how I
myself.
always look at it too. But like for me, I think more importantly, it's like saying web GUI just feels somewhat wrong.
Yeah, it feels like the kind of web's gone all like gooey.
Well, it does get GUI when I'm browsing. Never mind. I'm gonna stop there.
Stefano, don't start talking about stickers again, all right?
Oh, it's really sticky, all right, Ed.
Anyway, just I was thinking like while we're talking, I'm going to change the subject because
Ed is blushing.
you are just too bad. You know, one of us has to be sensible here. Thinking about 20 years of Unrade, yeah, it made me wonder, to be honest, if we took, say, every single Unrade server that's been built in the last 20 years, and we added up all of the total storage across all of those servers, how much storage do you think we'd have?
7.
7 what?
Storage is
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? You know, just think of every single Unraid server ever built. We put all the data together. How much would it be? But back in 2005, what was the average size of a hard drive, do you reckon? 500 gigs?
the average size.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know,
reckon 500 gigs.
256, 512 tops.
Yeah. Yeah, 500 was considered pretty big, really, wasn't it, in 2005 for a hard drive?
Yeah, I want to say because like I think in 2005 or six, just I bought a 1 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Black or however you say it, and I still
Mm.
have that drive to this day, by the way.
And if you think about it, like my, what do they call it? Napkin maths might be totally wrong here. But even if you had 1 terabyte drives, yeah, and we had 100,000 servers with 1 terabyte each, that would be 100,000 terabytes, which is 100 petabytes. So even just from that.
Yeah,
So I was just thinking, like, you know, fast forward to today, probably um, we're in the exabytes or zettabytes, maybe. But anyway, pretty random thought, really.
I mean it
Um,
kind of like you kind of like hit me with the realization just like how much the industry has changed. And I kind of see it all the time, like because drives and storage has become so cheap, everyone's become pretty lazy with
mm,
like their code or whatever it may be. And so it's kind of funny how we have new problems because storage has become so cheap
yeah,
and
you
accessible.
know, you're totally right with people becoming lazy with code. If you think of like, you know, some games like they're hundreds of gigs.
Yeah, well,
You
in the
know,
game's defense though, they usually have high res images and stuff like that, so that kind of makes sense.
yeah, but I still think it's sloppy. I think that they
Oh
could be
yeah,
optimized a lot
100%.
more.
Yeah, there's
You know,
definitely some
at
sloppy
the end
code
of
in
the
there.
day, you know, if you've got a game, I'm sure there was one game I read about that it was like 200 gigs in size when it was installed. I might be totally wrong,
It's Call of
and
Duty, wasn't it? One of the Call of Duties?
it might have been, yeah. But if you think of like an Xbox that has a 500 gig hard drive, that
Yeah.
takes up half of your game storage space. So you'd have to be constantly uninstalling and reinstalling games just to swap games, and that's just not cool.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about not being cool, how hot do you reckon the new Threadripper series gets? 96 cores on the new AMD Threadripper. It came out 23rd of July. So what was that?
So hot.
2 weeks ago. And talking about so hot, yeah, there's a cool t-shirt for the ladies in the merch store. It says hotter than his CPU at 100% load. I thought that was really funny. But
That is an awesome shirt. My wife actually wants that shirt, so I think I have to
yeah,
pick that up for her.
I think you'll have to buy it for her as a gift when you get your
Yeah,
candles as well. Yeah.
I'll probably get her a pink one and then get myself like one of the other lighter pink colors so we can match when we go out.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to buy me a Christmas present this year, Stefano, I am in the market for a high-end desktop CPU, and
No problem, man.
they're
It's
only
cheaper here in the
11,000
United States,
US.
so
So if you're a real friend, you would buy me that CPU.
done.
96 cores, perfect for virtualization on our servers and transcoding. Hey.
But you have to supply your own cooling mechanism and power supply.
Mm.
And
I
do
guess
they
it's a
even
bit.
sell 1500-watt power supplies in the UK?
What's that meant to mean?
Like, can you get them? Like,
Yeah,
does
of
the
course we
infrastructure
can.
support it?
Of course we can.
Okay, just making
Yeah.
sure.
Would I buy one? No. But
I mean, they'll
yeah,
probably cost just as much as the CPU.
yeah. But putting a CPU like that in my Unrade server be like putting a Formula One engine in a family-sized car.
But think of all the PCIe lanes. You would probably never
Oh
need to
man,
upgrade that server again.
absolutely, yeah. That
It
would
could be
be
your last server.
yeah,
The only problem is that it would just use so much power.
yeah. That would make me cry.
Yeah.
So unless you want to kind of like put this in a data center, I think we'll stick
Sorry,
with
I
our
gotta interrupt.
mid-range options.
Tiffany just dropped a bomb in chat for a t-shirt idea. A spicier shirt. She said, "Data isn't the only thing he backs up at night." Dude, that's perfect. That is awesome.
Oh dear, that's funny.
Imagine that in that crop top shirt. I need it. I need it. Where do I buy? I'm gonna buy one right now.
Yep. As soon as we get off, I am going to be buying some more merch. I really want a whole load of stickers, to be honest. That's something that I really want for my servers. So, other hardware news. I believe there's going to be a refresh on the NVIDIA graphics card soon. The probably 5080 Super and 5080 Ti Supers, probably just faster clock speeds and hopefully more VRAM. That would be nice for
Yeah.
AI workloads.
Yeah, I doubt that.
Um,
Maybe
but
if they give you more to be like 2 gigs more, so nothing significant.
just going back to talking about hard drives and the 36 terabyte hard drives and the expense, like
Yeah.
we were saying that $800 is a lot for 36 terabytes.
It is a lot.
You sent me a link
Yes.
of a hard drive from Dell. Yeah. And I'm going to share that with everyone because I think we all need to see it to have a bit of a laugh. So, anyone want to buy a few of those for their server?
And I don't know what makes that so expensive. So Dell is known for selling overpriced hard drives, right? This one might be one of their like self-encrypting drives. But imagine trying to buy a 36 terabyte drive from Dell right now. It would probably be like $16,000 to $20,000 for just one of those. This drive,
In their defense, it is an SSD, so it's probably like an NVMe. But man, 4 terabytes for
it
one
might be
thousand
NVMe.
$250 per terabyte is
I
a little bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I don't. The cost is still so extreme. If you would have told me $1,200, $2,000, okay, sure. 5,000 US, you still got to pay shipping and you still got to pay taxes. That's an expensive drive, and that's just one.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
So I'm just gonna have a look at chat because I have not been keeping an eye on chat.
yeah,
To be
there's a
honest.
bunch of bangers in chat right now that you're missing out. Sudo bang, am I right? More like super user don't.
Sudo is a safe word. Oh dear.
That's a pretty good one.
Anyway, Stefano,
Yes.
I'm going to move on to talk about something
A
that
bit
happened to
private.
me recently. I got an email from KLM. Do you know who KLM are?
They, yeah, they're that airplane company.
Yeah, they're a Dutch airline company.
Yeah, that's the one.
And I actually flew over to United States on KLM. I think they partner with Delta quite a lot. They sent me an email telling me that my data had been part of a data breach, specifically their Flying Blue program. Now, I don't know about you, but it's never a nice feeling getting an email saying you've been part of a data breach.
You should try living in the United States, Ed.
You've had them before?
I've had at least 8
Oh, wow.
easily, and sometimes twice from the same
Yeah.
company.
Have you ever had anything bad happen because of it? Have you had kind of like any negative consequences from the data breach?
Not that I'm aware of yet.
Yeah. Well, we had a data breach in the UK, so this is probably not the first time. We had a ISP. They were called Talk Talk. They were probably one of the worst ISPs, a very budget one, and they had their call center hacked or something, and then all of the customer data details were out in the wild and sold. And so then that made scammers be able to kind of ring up and go, "Hi, I'm from Talk Talk. There's a problem with your router. Let's log into your computer." And it caused havoc in the UK. So many people, especially elderly folk,
Yeah.
got scammed and saying, "Oh, we need to check your online banking's fine. Let's log into that." I think I probably said it on this podcast before, but there was a scam that they did on someone I actually know of. Um, they rang up, said they're part of the ISP, and said the router's been compromised. Said log into your bank account and check everything's fine. They said yeah, everything's fine, and so they're obviously recording the keystrokes of the bank password.
Yeah.
In the UK, you can't do a transfer without normally some kind of two-factor or a thing to generate numbers. But you can do an inter-account transfer. So you can transfer, say, from your savings to your current account or vice versa without any other two-factor. So what they did is they said, we're going to put £200 into your account as a sorry for, the problems with the ISP. And then they kind of hang up, and 5 minutes later, they'll ring back, and there was like a girl on the phone crying her eyes out saying, I'm going to lose my job. I've accidentally put too many zeros on. I've put 20,000 into your account as opposed to 200. And saying, please, can you just refund back, 19,800 and send that back. And here's the account details. And then I'll be fine. I won't lose my job. You can definitely keep the 200. As I said, please just correct it. So then the lady logged into her current account and saw there was 20,000 more than there should be. And and sent 19,800 to this scammer. And then found out that they'd just transferred 20,000 from her savings account into her current account. I think you call current account checking accounts. And so that's where the money had come from. And then because she had done all the kind of two-factor and sent it across, she could never get the money back.
Yeah.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar. It sounds like that there's this YouTubers, Twitch streamers that talk about the scams where they
Yeah.
like mess around with scammers, and that's like the number one thing they try to do is they have somebody come crying back, I'm gonna lose my job, I'm gonna lose my job, please, please, please help. And it's like, God. And the crazy part is like, they prey on this actually shows you how like good people are in general because they want to do the right thing
Mm,
generally.
yeah.
And taking advantage of people who just want to do the right thing is just the worst thing you could possibly do.
It
Because you
is.
end up turning them into these like sour shells and husks of people that they used to be. And it's just like, why would you
Mm.
do that? You're making the world worse, literally.
Yeah. I wonder how many people they've tried the scam on and they've transferred 20,000 from their savings into their checking account. Then the person's just turned around and goes, well, it sucks to be you, love.
Oh man.
and then hangs up and think they got 20,000 more. And then,
Probably I would say it's probably never happened. Because
mm,
and I say that because I feel like most people are so generally good
yeah.
that that's why it never happens.
But yeah, anyway, going back to my email, is they basically said it was a whole load of things just like name, address, that kind of thing, and how many air miles I've got, that kind of thing. But I don't know.
Do you
They never
guys
tell.
have like a social security number, kind of like the United
Yeah,
States?
they call it a national insurance number, which is
Nice.
the same thing. Yeah, so we have that, but we
Is that
don't
like
normally give that out to, for kind of things like airlines. They would never take that.
yeah? But do
So
you? I guess like is that tied to like a credit scoring system or anything like that, like we have in the United States?
um I'm not sure if they use it for credit scoring, but yeah, it is used for identity. It's used for our like tax records and things like that. So when we pay our taxes, it's linked to our national insurance number, which is the same as social security number, and you get your kind of pension and that kind of thing from that as well when you're older.
Okay.
So it's all kind of tied to that. And
Yeah, I guess like because like I bring it up because I'm like, what do you do? What can you do to protect yourself from like people opening accounts in your name in the
mm,
UK?
well, not much really. I don't know.
Really?
There's these services like incognito. What's it called? Like these things you see YouTubers advertise a lot that say they kind of get rid of the data brokers and things. But I was watching a video the other day, and they're questioning kind of how good these services actually are, and how many things they actually really get rid of. Because, like, just for a start, Experian is a data broker. So
So like if you open like an account with a bank, you have to give them your national ID number, right?
if you open an account with a bank, well, actually, some banks you can open with very little. The online banks, you pretty much need a phone number to open with, but you can't do any borrowing from that. It's just you would put money in from another bank. But
Right.
to open like a high street bank, you would need passport and, probably like a utility bill, a couple of utility bills to prove your address, a passport, driving license, that kind of thing.
Okay, so yeah, not
Um,
like the best security because like I'm trying to think
mm,
of, like in the United States we don't have a lot of defense either. Like the best you can do is just lock your or freeze your credit so that way no one can open an account because
yeah.
your credit is frozen. But aside from that, I mean, there's really nothing you can do.
No, but in the UK now, so many banks. I'm not sure what it's like in the United States, but in the high street, what we call it the high street, like where you go shopping, in town in the city, they're closing down all of the banks because it's all done online.
Yeah.
So even opening an account with the main banks is mainly done online. In the city I live in, Bristol, my bank has got only two branches now. It used to have maybe 15, 20. And so there's only two branches in the whole of the city, and it's like the fifth biggest city in the UK. So they're really getting smaller and smaller. Anyway, kind of just going back to my KLM story, you know, um, I just don't know what's been kind of breached and what hasn't. It seems like they're running a loyalty program for hackers now, and I'm a VIP member. But it made me kind of think, because I'm not sure how many people know a recent UK law that's happened. It's called the Online Harms Bill. And now in my country, for a lot of websites, anything that considers having any type of over 18 content, you have to submit either a facial recognition scan, your driving license, passport. Now, obviously, for adult sites, that's, it's designed to kind of stop children watching it. But
Yeah.
also things, if you go on like Twitter, Discord, even Wikipedia, is asking for this. And so a lot of people, they're very, very worried about it, because that's going to be a big database of passports, driving licenses, and people's, facial recognition ID. Imagine if that gets hacked. Think of all the identity theft loans that might be taken out for
I
people
don't
with
have to
that.
imagine it, Ed. It's happened. So we have a company here called Experian, who is one of the
Mm,
credit scoring companies that keeps all of your information, and they've been hacked twice. There's been no repercussions, and I think that's the biggest problem with this stuff is because Twitter will get hacked for say all that information gets leaked out, and then what happens? Nothing.
yeah,
They'll get slapped with a
exactly.
fine, and the fine is so small it's literally just a drop in the bucket for their profit margins.
Mm.
It's silly.
But what's been said now over in the UK is, the first day that this law came into effect, the App Store market Proton VPN became the #1 app being sold in the whole of the UK, because basically every teenage boy, I guess, bought Proton VPN
Yeah, yeah.
on that day for obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, it's
It
I'm not really
seems
very happy about it, to
yeah.
be honest, because they're also saying now, because everyone, well, lots of VPNs are being sold, they're talking about trying to ban VPNs in the UK. And I just don't really think they kind of really understand,
No.
what the internet is. It reminds me really, all of these kind of things. They say, they're trying to do various different things. Another thing they're doing here is they're trying to get Signal and WhatsApp to do what's called client-side scanning. So the messages are encrypted, okay? So what the government wants to do is to have the messages scanned before they're sent. So they can say, well, we're looking for this. And so they want to be able to have that put into the software to say, we're looking for this type of photograph. And I'll leave it to the viewer's imagination to work out what type of photograph that is without saying it
A
on
picture of
stream.
your NAS.
But yeah, so they want to scan it beforehand to be able to report back to the government. So it just really kind of just ruins encryption. And WhatsApp and Signal are saying they'll pull out of the UK if the UK force them to do that
Yeah.
and compromise their encryption. But I just don't think really, our government fully understands, you know, how useful VPNs are for business. Um, many businesses use VPNs. And so imagine if they ban VPNs in my country. Does that mean I'm not allowed to use Tailscale anymore?
I mean, yeah, and also just scaling it, to a professional working environment. How many people VPN to their company's network
Mm,
to transfer files or just work remotely? You
yeah.
can't just have a blanket ban on VPNs. Like it
Mm,
sounds incredibly silly.
it is, but it's just I was actually shocked when I found out our politicians, when they become head of a certain department, like head of technology, head of education. I always thought that when a politician was head of a department, they had a history in that field. So head of technology would have a background in technology, head of education would have a background in education, but they actually don't. They're often just kind of promotional steps on the career ladder, and they get promoted to different ones that are considered more prestigious.
Yeah.
I was quite shocked about that when I found that out.
The funny part for me about like banning things is like they always start off with this good intention, like, hey, we
Mm,
want to just protect children from seeing pornographic material.
yeah.
And so a simple statement like that just becomes this absolute rabbit hole
Mm,
of problems. And honestly, instead of the government trying to ban things, the parents should just be responsible
definitely.
for what their kids are doing online.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's not the government's job, any government's job, to protect the children from content online
Yeah, that's a parent's
to an
job.
extent. It should be the
Yeah.
parents' job.
But
Like
as
it's
well,
one thing limiting, access to buying, drugs or illicit
mm,
content having delivered to your door. That's one thing. But like, where are the parents?
how I look at it when they try and ban things like this is that they, like, for banning the encryption in messaging apps, because they
Yeah.
say it's to catch PDF files. Um, yeah, so you can think, okay, so what they're doing is a bit like saying, if you have a murderer and a murderer goes out into the street and murders someone, we can solve murder by making everyone not be allowed to go outside.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you can't say, oh, because like someone who's bad has freedom to do something, that we need to take away it from everyone so they can't. It's kind of seems really dumb to me.
And that's the thing
But
too.
anyway,
It's like laws, like, like laws are only going to stop people who would be following the law anyway in the first place. Like
mm,
people who like murder. Not everyone's a murderer. So just because you have a law against murdering people isn't going to stop a person who would murder somebody. Like
exactly.
it does
Yeah.
nothing. And banning a VPN or whatever, all you're going to
Mm,
do is just have people come up with new ways to circumvent these rules, and it's a constant cat and mouse game instead of just and when I say make people responsible, I'm not saying make them responsible with laws, but where is shame? You should be ashamed for not, you know, I guess being there around or letting your child have unfiltered access to the internet. Like you should be
Mm,
doing something as a parent. Like I wouldn't take my kid to the strip club, for instance. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't know.
But with all of this, I had no idea it had happened. To be honest, I just kind of woke up, one day, a few days after it had happened, and saw all these YouTube videos from people around the world going, "What's happening in the UK with this?"
That's
But it's
funny.
just like,
Nice.
if you create a back door, there's always a chance. I don't know why governments kind of think you can have just a goodies back door, and like it will never be, it can never be hacked by hackers or malicious actors. But yeah. Anyway, so that's what's happened over in my country recently. Um, and I'm hoping they're not going to ban Tailscale. So, being it
Yeah, I
being
hope they don't.
a mesh VPN.
So, I think I think it was perfect. They would say like they would ban VPNs for non-business purposes, and I would like kind of like jokingly said, suddenly, small businesses are start soaring in the UK. It's like because that's exactly what would
So suddenly
happen.
there's loads of teenage boys that open businesses.
Yeah, like that's why it's silly to do something like this because you're not stopped. It's like the United States saying, "Hey, we're not going to sell graphics cards to China." One, they're manufactured
Mm,
in China, so there's all you're going to do is just have somebody start stealing from the production line or whatever, or they're just going to just buy them from somewhere else and illegally import them back into the country and or modify them or hey guess what this GPU died and guess who takes all the recycling from the United States, China. So they're gonna get and sometimes trash, they're gonna get sometimes these perfectly good working graphics cards anyway and they're just gonna create a black market anyway. And so it's like
mm,
what was that law designed to do? Just make things more difficult. Like you're not doing
mm.
anything.
No, these things are not thought through properly, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to stop moaning
You're getting me worked up, Ed.
about about the VPNs in the UK, and let's move on and talk about AI. The AI space continues to be the wild, wild west, it seems, and we had a pretty big shake-up this month with XAI and their new feature in Grok AI, the video, spicy video mode. Do you hear about that, Stefano?
I have heard about it, but unfortunately, no one has seemed to present me evidence of the said content for my own edification and review.
So tell everyone what it's about, Stefano.
Oh, I mean, I know what it's about, but I haven't
Yeah, but
seen the evidence. You know,
tell everyone. You know, we know what
so
it's about.
so the gist of the story is right that some user got um, nude or a deep fake of nudes of Taylor Swift.
Mm,
That's the gist of the story. But there's so many questions I have because it's not like you can just be like you have to prompt it, right?
yeah.
So I feel like either there's two things that happen because I haven't seen the actual evidence. They either prompted it more directly so they would get Taylor Swift specifically, or the image or video that was generated happens to look remarkably similar to Taylor Swift.
You see, what you can do with these video AIs is you can upload a photograph and then have the video based off the photograph.
Yeah,
So you could upload that. And from what I've never used Grok myself, to be honest.
same.
Have you used that? No.
I
But
have not.
apparently it has something called spicy mode,
Yeah.
where it kind of like takes a bit of guardrails off and it can swear at you and this that, and the other. So they switched it onto spicy mode and then asked for the video to be done. And I think I saw the video on The Verge, but it obviously kind of blurred bits out. And it just had Taylor Swift, or a look, it didn't quite look exactly the same as her. And she just basically took her dress off.
Yeah, and
And
so that's what I'm kind of worried because news is very sensationalized now. So like,
mm,
was it Taylor Swift or did she just look remarkably close? Because I
yeah,
find that like with all AI generated everything, they're borrowing content that's been generated online already. So there's a lot of likeness, but there's not like actually that person. You know what I mean? Unless it's
Mm,
truly a deep fake of Taylor Swift.
yeah, but yeah, there was a big outrage about it anyway, about the lack of guardrails, and I think
Yeah, that's the
that's
bigger
that
thing.
now being fixed. So,
Yeah, and
but
I want to say like Taylor Swift, a bunch of other celebrities, they're like, they want to protect their images
mm,
and fight against these deep fakes because deep fake technology is still in its infancy, but it's already so powerful. And a lot of
yeah,
people, when they see these videos, especially older people who haven't like, I don't want to say grown up with, but haven't been exposed to AI content nearly as much as like you or I probably have. Like they're not going to see the differences between what's real and what's a
mm,
deep fake. And it's gotten
yeah,
so good. There's been a few times I've even kind of fallen for like, that looks pretty real, you know? So
yeah.
imagine what's going to be when we're old, Ed, or older. Some of us are older.
But I remember seeing some kind of video. It was like had like a news reporter kind of reporting, and it was like raining, and there was like a road, and it had someone going along on, I think it was either a bicycle or a moped. Then it had them like fall into like a puddle, and they just like disappeared. And it really did look realistic. It really looked real,
Yeah.
and you can see why kind of people get
The
fooled by it. But
Thankfully, like right now, an easy tell for like anything deep fake is that the cost, right, is so prohibitive for making videos that are like longer because they
mm,
require so much compute power that generally speaking, anything that happens to be um, a knockoff will be incredibly short. So that's a pretty good tell, or at least something you can start with.
someone in the chat saying Mountainhead highlights the deep fake concern. Have you seen the movie
I've never even
Mountainhead?
heard of it. I
No, have
have
I.
no idea what
Let's have a look up about that quickly.
Ed is the space invader on. Yeah, yeah. He's on break. When he's on break, he's just Ed. When he's working, he's space invader. He'll invade your space, your Unrade space, your database.
Tech Pro Sata
Hide your
Mountainhead is
drives.
an
Hide your servers.
insufferable disappointment, according to reviews. Oh.
You can't believe reviews anymore. Like
Mm,
they're so inconsistent, and like some of my most favorite movies have just the worst reviews. But like so, and Starship Troopers is a good example of this, right?
yeah,
People hated it when it first came out, but Starship Troopers, at least the first one, in my opinion, is really close to being a masterpiece.
yeah, it's a great movie.
And and you just can't trust like a lot of things you just have to see for yourself. So I try not to look at reviews anymore because they've just been so misleading.
Someone in the chat saying Space Invader channel on a break. It has been on a bit of a break, and keep checking back because I have a lot of content in production that's partially finished that I just need to finish editing, and there'll be a whole bunch of things up there. I've been working on a few things just for everyone who's interested in my Space Invader channel. Other things I've been doing, I've been working on my first ever plugins for Unrade, and I've made
Oh,
some quite cool plugins, I think. Um, I will say one of the plugins I've
tease
made,
us.
I'm going to tease you. One of
Okay.
the plugins I've made is for automatically being able to start your Unraid array. But one problem I always didn't like about the different methods of auto starting an Unraid array, and I made a video about it probably in about 2018, is you actually have to have a key, and that's normally online and it's downloaded in order to automatically unlock your Unraid array. So what I've done is I've made a plugin that with Lux encrypted disks, you actually have 32 slots with Lux 2. So you can actually have 32 different passphrases or key files. So obviously we use just one when we set up our Unraid server with encrypted disks. So what my plugin does is it checks the serial number of your motherboard, and then it reaches out to your router and it gets the MAC address of the router. It combines those two and hashes it, and then it adds that as a Lux key to your array. So it gives it a second, key. And so then when your server starts up, it recalculates that and it automatically unlocks the array.
Nice.
Um, so that way, if your server's stolen or it goes away, well, it's away from your router and they'll start it up and it won't be able to reconstruct the key. So the key's dynamically constructed on boot. And so that would be one of my first videos coming back. I've also got one on Ursat's TV. I think I mentioned it before. But in my spare time recently, I've just really got into um, making plugins and doing things with Unrade. I've been wanting to make plugins for a long time, but I wanted to wait until the responsive web UI was out, and
Yeah,
now
yeah, it's a good idea.
7.2 beta is out because I didn't want to have to kind of redo plugins and kind of learn, how to kind of make all of that work. So all of that's working. I've got a few other plugins as well that I've been doing. I've been having great fun with that, and so that's some of the things I've been doing in my spare time. And you might have noticed I released a couple of containers recently, like a new VM icons container where you can.
You made
I
a
put it on
video
the
about that
Uncast
too, didn't
channel.
you?
I made a video about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all done through a web UI now. You can upload your own icons for VMs, and it has 91 icons, I think, built in for all the various different OSs. Yeah, so
You stay pretty busy, with your 2 channels now.
yeah, so with my day job, working for Line Technology, and my free time, I kind of concentrated more on kind of working on my plugins and things over the last few weeks. So my relaunch of my Space Invader 1 channel has been a little bit delayed, but
What I'm
even
hearing is that you need a video editor.
but I probably do, yeah, I probably do. But yeah, everyone, keep checking out my channel because I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few days you will see a couple of videos up there.
So this is kind of unrelated, but you triggered this thought in my head that since you're pulling the motherboard serial number.
Yeah.
So have you heard about like video games now trying to use the TPM so that way because you
Oh, right.
can't modify the TPM, right?
Yeah.
So they pull like a serial or some sort of unique identifier out of the TPM so that way your account is now forever attached to that game.
Hmm.
And so if you get banned from the game, um, your hardware is now forever banned because you can't spoof the TPM today. Well,
No,
there
but
anymore.
in VMs you can emulate a TPM.
Right, but isn't I mean, so I guess if you're going to go that route, you're pretty dedicated to hardcore cheating.
But
But
then
wouldn't you still be
what
able
they
to
would
get
do,
the ID?
they would probably check for the type of TPM, and it would
Yeah,
come up as an emulated type, and they will ban that from being able to be used as an identifier in the game, I would imagine.
yeah. I think. I mean, there's obviously stuff they could do for it, but I mean, I just thought that was like a pretty interesting thing that we
Yeah,
went from TPM being this kind of like, oh, cool, that's a neat technology that we can use for encryption, to now
mm,
that it may, with Windows 11 pushing, TPM requirements, and
yeah.
probably soon games.
I suppose because the gaming is so much on Windows, and Windows 10 is coming to an end, and Windows 11 requires TPM.
Yeah.
You can see that it is a logical progression for game companies to try and tie it to TPM. Really, I guess.
Yeah, because I mean, it's funny. Like even with kernel level access with anti cheat, people are still managing to get around a lot of the anti cheat software and cheat in video games. So now it could potentially be cost prohibitive if your TPM on your motherboard. I mean, you could technically buy a new TPM. Some motherboards
Mm,
have TPM, so you could replace it. And TPMs are pretty cheap, but
yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of things being tied to the TPM because what happens if you want to play on another computer?
Yeah, that's another.
I've got multiple computers that I might want to game on.
That's a good question. I don't know how that works. I think it's really only. I think you still can play. At least that's our
Mm,
intention. You can still play on another system, but it's really just you'll get banned from that hardware. It's more like a hardware ban tied to your account.
yeah. Did you know as well? Just talking about Windows and gaming. Here's some kind of pretty fun news for everyone. Linux on desktop has finally officially hit 5% in the US of being used. So Linux is slowly but steadily climbing up the ranks. So it might not sound a lot, 5%, but it's a real big win, I think, for the open source community that we've got
And
5% of US desktops running on Linux.
I actually have some evidence as to why this might be improving for everyone as well.
Yeah.
Not only because proprietary NVIDIA drivers are now available to a lot of Linux distributions, but because Linux is finally kind of shedding um, that local user only space. So, like if we look
Mm,
at Ubuntu, for instance, you can sign into your operating system while using like an OIDC, whether that be Entra or Otaka or whatever, and that's pretty cool. Like you don't being able to do that on any Linux system, like you get your own home directory inside of like your friend's computer or whatever. Like that's pretty
so
freaking sweet.
just replying back to chat, Zanombi says that he uses Mac and Arch for gaming. Um, how do you find Mac for gaming, Zanombi? I've tried it on my M3, um, and it seems the performance is not too bad. My brother's got an M4 Mac, and he uses Crossover, and he pretty much swears that he's a much bigger gamer than I am, but he reckons that most of the games he plays play really really well.
I've played
Anyway,
a few
sorry to
games.
interrupt you.
Oh, no worries, no worries. But I feel like Linux is finally getting to the point now where it integrates much better than it ever has before
Mm,
with non-Linux things. And I think that's what's really helping. And Microsoft themselves is dumping tons of money into
mm,
Ubuntu virtual machines and Azure
yeah.
Cloud, uh, or even Red Hat or whatever kind of operating system. And I think that's really what's helping Linux become more globally used.
But as well, like who is it? Tweety Pie. He's been making, you know, for those who don't know who he is, he's some big YouTuber. But he's made a series about him switching to Linux. And also Jay's Two Cents. Do you ever watch that channel?
Periodically,
It's
I'll jump on
like a
there.
hardware channel. He recently did a video, his first ever kind of Linux build apparently, and he was using Bazite, which is based off Fedora,
Hmm.
which it's pretty much set up for gaming out the gate. Personally, my favorite distro at the moment is Garuda, which is based off Arch. I use the Dragon Eyes Gaming Edition. Really nice, very nice looking system.
I think that's probably one of Linux's actual downfalls is that there's too many distributions. um,
It can be confusing for sure, but
yeah, because
that's
like
what VMs are for, Stefano. That's why
yeah,
we
but
have
if you just
VMs
want to
and
play
pass through.
games on your PC and you're like, let's say you're a Redditor, okay? You go to Reddit and you're like, hey, which Linux distribution should I use? You're going
Mm,
to get like 15 different answers. Sure,
yeah, for
some of them
sure.
are probably based on the same base kernel, but it's just like
Mm,
there, I think it's going to get, I think it's still very hard for some people that are just interested in it because think about like, not that Linux is complex, but just think about how installing a package is much different depending on what operating system you're on. And if you've never touched Linux before and you suddenly got to learn about package managers or Flatpak or whatever, and
mm.
that becomes daunting really quickly. And I
Yeah.
think the fact that there's so many distributions is just going to hurt Linux.
So, what would you recommend, say, a new user to Linux Desktop World to try for their first distro, and why?
I'm actually pretty anti Linux desktop to be honest. No, I'm kidding. Um, I
Get
don't,
off my lawn.
I guess I would just go with Ubuntu because that seems like
Mm,
such a commonplace. But if you're gonna play video games, it'll be Pop OS, also for the simplicity because it just installs the
yeah.
drivers for you and all that stuff.
I would say if for someone who wants to play video games, I would go with Bazite. Um, it's really easy. It works out the box. There's nothing you have to do. Everything's already installed for you, like Steam, Lutris, loads of things is already there, set up out of the box for you. Um, but if you want to kind of do a little bit more with Linux, like you might want to run KVM, QEMU, and that kind of thing, I would go with Garuda. And if you want gaming, use the Dragon Eyes Gaming Edition. It has all the drivers you need into it. But again, I would say for a beginner who wants to learn about the Linux world, I would use probably a Ubuntu based distro,
Yeah,
because
anything Debian.
every
Yeah,
guide online, especially if you're going into kind of the terminal, and will be Ubuntu based. And I think Pop OS is a great distro. Um, I'm looking forward to their new version coming out hopefully soon.
yeah.
It's taking a long time, isn't
There's a lot of good Debian options out there
it?
for sure.
Anyway, we were talking about AI, weren't we?
Yeah.
And Chat GPT 5. Haven't when
It,
did 5 come out?
uh,
A couple of days ago,
yesterday, a
wasn't
couple
it?
days ago.
Yesterday, yeah, yeah.
Is this when we drop the bomb on them and say that this entire live stream was actually generated by AI?
Oh, don't tell them that. you know, we're going to see if they realised.
They'll never realize.
But anyway, on a positive AI note, Home Assistant Summer of AI. So it's not all doom and gloom. Home Assistant, the open source automation platform, I think it's released. It was 25.8 update on just a couple of days ago, August the 6th. It's a full local privacy focused AI features. So that's nice to see.
I got a question for you. So you know how you can download uh ChatGPT, like an app on your
Hmm.
computer? Why? Why would you want to do that? I'm like, I guess so old school, like, or not old school, but
Hmm.
like you could just use it in your web browser. Why would you want to have an app instead of
And
just
you're
using the web browser?
100% right, because actually ChatGPT in the app is less functional than ChatGPT in the browser.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, just
So
from
ChatGPT in the browser, you get access to like Suno and some of the other OpenAI things. Like for Suno is awful for video generation. It's like so far behind the others. It's unreal. But you get access to other things. Codex, I think, an OpenAI thing. But in the actual app on the desktop, you won't have access to that.
but I
Um,
don't like, I don't get the desire for there to be an app for everything, because
mm,
you can just use the web portal. I mean, 90% of the content you ingest anyway is going to be on the web.
yeah. I don't know. I just think it's people kind of get into the habit of like, having an app to download with things like
I don't
and
know.
also we are streaming on Riverside at the moment. There's a Riverside app for Mac, and it's functionally useless for me to use, so I'm
Yeah.
using it in Chrome at the moment. Um
Like, some
and
things, some applications make sense, especially if they need
mm,
like access to. I mean, I don't know. Like, there are definitely cases.
anything that natively runs in the web, you shouldn't bother even having an app for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion as well.
Yeah.
So I don't get the need to have an app for everything. But anyway, I was wondering if you had maybe like a good
Mm.
answer that would like kind of make me be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But I don't know. Maybe I'll never get there.
Yeah, I guess people like to have a little icon to click on to open it, and
Because what I'm afraid
I
of
don't
is like
know.
you
Like,
download their app and then even though like they're like, oh, we only have access to like these directories or these
yeah,
things,
sure.
like we already know you can't trust companies for anything in
No,
the world. And last thing I want to do is have their application running on my computer and be a part of some botnet that I'm not aware of. And
exactly.
suddenly, like, now I'm also a part of, their clusters helping, what do you call them, tokens, generating tokens for other people's questions, like that kind of
Yeah,
that. I have that kind of fear for it, and that may not be true, but it's like you don't know that it's not true until, you know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
just, I'm just gonna use the web.
Do you remember when we were talking about browsers last month? Did you ever get a chance to try out Brave browser?
No, I probably will never use any other browsers, to be honest.
Stefano, make me a promise that you'll try it for next month, okay? I'm sure the audience would like you to try it.
But
It's
I
a
have
great
to
browser.
install it.
Oh, Stefano, it doesn't take very long. It's not difficult. You
But
just
I
click a
already
couple of
have
mouse clicks.
Firefox.
Yeah, but Brave, I'd say Brave. I think it's the best browser, in my opinion.
Wasn't it just Chrome?
No, it's not Chrome. It's Chrome without all of the Google spying. It blocks adverts. Go on. I'm going to show some. I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to leave you to talk about something while I set up a little demo for everyone. Okay.
Okay,
Um,
I will talk about how this little challenge is tearing me apart, Lisa, on the inside. I I just I guess I don't really know what the right words are. I don't have the right words, but the whole idea of trying yet another browser to do a thing that Firefox already mostly does just kind of like bothers me. And I think that I'm not really a good use case for a lot of these scenarios where uh, like if everyone would have just used Firefox, like I've been saying for 20 years, Chrome would not be successful and we wouldn't have this problem. So that's what I'm trying to say ultimately here. The reason why we have all these browsers now is because all of you people keep giving all your information to Google and they keep making everything worse. And now we're in this world where we have like, oh, we have to have this special browser to prevent advertisements and like 15 different uBlock origins. So it's getting worse, okay?
right. I am got Firefox up here.
And I'm going to support Brave, and then Brave will eventually turn bad because they're going to turn into the thing that's swore to destroy. Guarantee it. And Firefox is already on my like bad list.
Okay, everyone. I am going to. The amount of browsers I got open now is insane.
Wait. Can you use Brave for Riverside?
Yeah, you can, but
Okay.
I don't trust it because it blocks too much stuff. So I normally use pure Chrome for that, to be honest.
Oh, so you don't trust it. So it
Just
must.
because I do trust it. Ugh. Stefano, you're putting words into my mouth. Chat. While I'm setting this up, please sort him out. Okay, he's he's getting out of hand as always.
Look, they're already questioning how well Brave will do with HTTP3. Okay, so clearly there's a lot of distrust in our own chat about Brave.
Right. Okay.
All
Here,
right,
this
hit
is
it.
Firefox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now look at those lovely advertisements on Speed Test. Speed Test always has loads of ads. Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna stop sharing this. And let me close Firefox. And I'm going to reshare the same website. And that's is that Brave? No, that's Safari. Damn it.
Yeah, I was like,
See,
why is it telling you about
I've
Mac
got too many
OS?
things. Got too many things open. Share one more try. Same site in Brave.
Okay. And
No ads. It's totally clean. So when you go onto some websites are totally unusable. And yeah, so
so
that's why I like Brave.
because you
And
don't have to
you don't
install any
have any
additional plugins,
no
basically.
additional plugins.
Yeah.
It's got a thing called like shields where you kind of put the shields up for various sites, and there's a whole load of things you can kind of do, and it's probably the most privacy respecting browser there is out there, in my
I
opinion.
can get behind that idea because like there's always questions like even with uBlock Origin, like uBlock Origin can technically access everything you do in your browser.
Hmm.
So like some question or some plugins you definitely have to be very wary of, and I could see why Brave could be trusted more just in that sense alone. I will not make a promise that I'll try it, but I will
Come on,
consider it.
Stefano.
I will consider it.
So talking about trying things, okay. If you remember, chat from last month, I said to Stefano, "Has he ever tried Black Mesa?" And he said, "No, it's been in his cart for ages." Black Mesa being the remake of Half Life One, and he said it'd been in his cart for ages. So I said, "Right, okay, Stefano, I'm going to buy you it as a little gift." And I did buy Stefano that game, and I want to know, Stefano, have you actually played it?
Yes, I have. I've
can
actually
you can you prove it?
I actually can because I have live streamed me playing it on
Oh,
my YouTube channel.
oh, well, I have not seen that. So
Yeah.
okay.
I originally
You've
actually
got
started playing
actual
without live
proof.
streaming, and then so I started live streaming about I don't want to say halfway through the game, but the early stages of the game. So I started streaming when you get to the trash compactor,
Right.
and so I have 2 streams up of it right now, but I have some bad news, Ed, because I am a terrible gamer and I really lack the timing skills. So I don't like playing games that require like peak timing. And I'm not saying this game does, but I'm just so bad at timing that that part where you have to go through teleporter to teleport and then to get on the platform to teleport again, I keep dying so much that I got so frustrated that I'm taking a little
Mm.
break right now
Right.
from from um from Black Mesa. And usually when I take a break from a game like this, I never go back to it.
I know what you mean. It's just
So
like when you watch a TV show, like me and Vanessa will watch a TV show and we're really into it for a long time. And then another really cool TV show might start. And I think, oh, we've got to watch that. And we start watching that. And then we just never go back to the other one and finish it
yeah,
off. And then I've kind
like
of forgotten really a bit, really what was happening in it. And I just feel I just don't really want to go back to it.
that's exactly the problem I may have. Like I'll have to force myself back into it
Mm,
because just like the
exactly.
TV shows, like we haven't finished The Last of Us season 2. We started watching
Mm.
it and then we just stopped. And now I have no desire at all to even finish it. And there's so many TV shows like that. And Black Mesa is a little bit different. Uh, well, a basketball star, but he tried it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My timing is just terrible. So like, I'm afraid I'll never get back to it, Ed. But I will say it was a lot of fun while I was playing it, and like I really wish I would have been there originally because it would have blown my little mind.
Yeah. Half-Life 1 was just so cool.
Yeah.
I'm a bit upset at the moment, Stefano, because do you remember I said about the game I was really looking forward to? The Terminator No Fate, that kind of like modern retro game.
Yeah.
It was meant to be coming out at the beginning of September, and it's
Did it
been
get
delayed
delayed?
now, delayed to the end of October. So
It's not so bad. I thought you were
not
going to
so
tell me they
bad.
got canceled.
Oh, Stefano, I would be in no state to be doing this podcast if that was the case. I would have
Yeah.
to. I would have to
I mean, because like
go into a dark corner for a long time.
I genuinely thought it might have gotten canceled because of, I mean, if you look at like Microsoft, the number of games they canceled and studios they've shut down, it's kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hmm. Yeah, I suppose it's not too bad, is it? It just means I'll have to wait a little longer to fight T800s and save humanity. So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I just have to go back and play Black Mesa, I guess. Get past the teleport bit.
Yeah. So, and you also got me RoboCop.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah. How
You did.
did you enjoy that?
I haven't started playing it yet because I just put down, I got frustrated with Black Mesa. And so I put that down. And then I've actually been working so much overtime that I haven't really, by the time I get home from work, I just don't feel like doing anything at all.
Hmm.
Like I can't even bring myself to create a YouTube video. That's how like
Yeah.
exhausted I am. So I'll get there, but I'm not sure when.
Have you watched the original RoboCop movies?
I watched well, I guess the first RoboCop
Hmm.
forever ago.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I mean, I was really young back
Yeah.
then, so of
I
course I
think if
did.
you enjoyed the movie, you'll really enjoy the game. It's very faithful to the movie. They've done a really cool job, I thought. So
Yeah, I actually saw just like the on YouTube Shorts actually of all places, somebody upload just a small segment of RoboCop and I was like, "Oh yeah, that looks
hmm.
awesome."
It's
So,
pretty fun. Yeah, that was one of those games, like you say, that you start playing, and I started playing it, then I stopped, and then I never went back to it. So
oh
I
wow.
think I need to go back to it.
You know,
Something else always comes up in the way, then you kind of forget. Mm,
and it's funny because like, it's not that it's a challenge issue. Like I play Tarkov, right? That's a very extremely challenging game. So I'm up for a challenge, but it's just something about timing plus a challenge that makes me never want to play it again. So a good example of this also is Dante's Inferno. Absolutely great game. Love the game. I beat it actually, surprisingly. Or no, I'm sorry. I played on the hardest difficulty that's available. But when you go to fight the devil himself, you have to do things the timing, you have to time things like basically perfectly on the hardest difficulty to beat him. And so I tried and 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 tried, and I even tried again a few years later, and I could never do it. And so I'm at the point now where I will probably never beat Dante's Inferno because
Mm.
I just can't get the timing down. I mean, I see the patterns. Like it's a pattern. It's easy. You get on, you get off the platform, you go through the teleporter, it puts you on another one. It's all timed really easily, but I just can't do it. And so
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get past the part. It's never gonna happen.
Well, what I do when I get stuck on a game bit sometimes is I call my son and go, "Come and have a look at this game, see if you can get past this bit," and I'll make him get past that bit. Then I'll go, "Okay, thanks," and I'll carry on.
Here's an idea.
So when your
I can
son
play
gets
the
older, you'll
game.
better do that.
Yeah, I'll live stream the game and then I'll be like, "All right, Ed, beat this part for me." And then you can remote into my system, beat that part, and then once you get past it, then I can keep playing. How about that?
Sounds good to me. And if I can't do it, I'll be calling my son.
That would be funny. From his
So
he'll remote into your computer, that's
yeah,
remoted to my computer to beat the game.
it'll be just like a Russian doll, layers of stuff. Oh dear. Anyway, just some other kind of news in the kind of tech space. There's what's it called? I'm gonna have to refer to my notes, I think. There's some kind of GitHub, yeah, the GitHub hackathon
Hackathon.
that's running at the moment, and there's some kind of weird thing there where it's called like a dad joke generator, and apparently what you have to do is you have to upload a picture of your fridge, and then the AI checks that it is actually a fridge, and if it is a fridge, it will then say a dad joke.
Every time, just a fridge.
Yeah, it's just a fridge. It will work with apparently.
Hmm.
I think it's kind of so crazy. I think it sounds awesome. I want to try and find that. And
It does sound so it sounds so crazy. It's like Ubu Linux. Have you heard of Ubu Linux?
no, what's that? Tell
It
me, what
sounds
is
so
it?
crazy. I want to try it, Ed. Don't share your screen if you Google it right now. You'll have to Google it off stream.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
The database. Ha. Oh, yeah, I'll read this to you. So Perfect said, "Where do dads save their jokes?"
I don't know.
The database. It's cute.
Yeah, see, I like dad jokes always.
Yeah, yeah. There's some pretty solid ones out there for sure. So now that we have oh my gosh. Now I understand why Linux desktop has hit 5% in the US. It's because of
Yeah.
Ubu Linux. 100%.
Well, I will be looking it off. I'll be looking this up off stream
That's a
and
good idea.
seeing what it's like.
I think it's actually safe to Google search on stream live. Uh but there's some you'll probably have to actually you live in the UK, so you'll have to put in your passport, your national ID, your credit card information. You'll have to give them a picture of you and your firstborn, and then they'll let you have access to the website.
Apparently, going back to that, like this is a game I haven't played, so apparently
What's that?
people are tricking the kind of like the system by using what's that game called where it's got Norman Reedus in it,
Oh,
and you kind of transport things across. I did try it out, but to be honest, probably people will hate me for saying this, but I found it one of the most boring games I'd ever played.
I can't. In your defense, it does look very boring because it
Is it
just
called
looks
Death
like a
Stranding?
running
I think
Death
it's called
Stranding.
Death Stranding or
Yeah,
something like that.
running
Apparently,
simulator.
people are using the photo mode in Death Stranding to get around the kind of blocks. I've no idea how that's even possible, but apparently that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if I just based off what I've seen, when new laws and regulations come out, companies just do it in the most lazy possible way, just to like hit that
Mm.
checkbox. So that doesn't surprise me that there's a simple way to get around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if you can use like the developer options inside of a browser to just be like close this script, and it just lets you into the
Mm.
website anyway. I bet that would probably work on a lot of websites.
But as well, like any kind of kid who's kind of pretty determined to do it, if you just have to upload a passport or a driving license, you just wait till your parents go out, and then you go to the drawer and you go and get their
Yeah, right.
passport and you upload theirs. And then I don't know if you have to do it every time or something. I don't know. I'm assuming you just kind of set up an ID and then it's done. But I don't know.
I don't know. And like what's even more silly about it, it's like cool, it's only going to work on legitimate websites, but there's I don't know, trillions of websites.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Like what are you doing? You don't even have jurisdiction in most countries. You know what I mean? It's just that's whatever.
Apparently, they will fine any company that doesn't do it in the UK 10% of their global revenue.
Yeah, somehow don't believe that's ever going to
But I
actually
don't really
happen.
know how they could even do that. Like, what happens if they try and fine a company 10% of their global revenue and the company just goes, yeah, nice try.
Yeah. What they'll
you know,
probably do
like,
is to be like, "Hey, I can't think of any UK Parliament members right now off the top of my head. How about we just give you 5% and then you just sweep this under the rug?"
mm. Anyway, guys, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of today's episode. Um, everyone, please um, come along to the live event on the 30th. It'd be really great to see you all there for
What
that
time is
event.
the live event?
The time, that's a very good question. I will have to double check that because
I'll look it up.
of all the different time zones.
I need to know in my time zone right now.
It's in the morning your time.
Oh,
We've tried to make it as universally able to be achieved as possible. So it's a morning, a Saturday morning one for you.
all right. This okay. Okay, I gotta go back to chat real quick. Yeah, this is what you do. Okay, you get an ID, right?
Hmm.
You print out a picture of one of your local prime or parliament members' faces, and then you tape it to your ID, and you're just like, "Here, this is me." I
Oh
bet that would
man,
work.
yeah, probably.
All right, sorry. We can leave now if you want.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, please everyone check out the new merch. You know, OG Unraider representing here, and we got Home Lab
Certified.
certified there. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think we should let Stefano call himself Home Lab certified when he won't try ZFS? I don't know. I think we should like cross out the certified on yours, Stefano.
I blame the technology for not having the features I want, and they finally have a feature that I want. So
Yeah.
maybe I will try
Okay.
it after all.
Yeah. Is that a promise?
No, that is a that is what do they call it? I can't think of the right word. It's basically just trying to like push off the subject so we stop talking about it. Whatever that word is.
Yeah. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in today and listening to Stefano and I's ridiculous banter. It's been great having you. Please come to the live event on the 30th, on Saturday the 30th, if you have time and not got anything to do. It's going to be a really great event. If you've got a server you want to enter into the competition, please go onto the website and put in your entries. Make sure it's in before August the 17th on the closing date, and you'll have a chance to win lots of cool prizes. And anyway, until the next Ed and Stefano Unleashed, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you in the live stream on the 30th. And Stefano? Stefano's doing his frozen screen.
Now you know me too well now.
I
That's
know
all
him
I
too,
got to
I
say
know him
about
too
that.
well. He likes doing that, doesn't he? Yeah, we know his tricks now.
Bye everybody, especially that one guy from Scotland.
Thank you very much, guys. See you later.